Hi guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the APB podcast. I just want to start this week's episode by thanking the thousands upon thousands of viewers and emailers that we've had over the last few weeks. But wanting to remind you that if you have got any feedback on the podcast, or any questions about the game itself you want to ask me or any of the developers here, please drop us a line, podcast@apb.com, and we'll do our best to get back to you or include the feedback in future episodes. Now, on the subject of what people want to see, we've had thousands of emails asking for full gameplay rundown of APB. Now, we are actually working on this episode, so please check back with us. It takes quite a while to put it all into 5 minutes. You'd be surprised how much there is actually to speak about. But that'll be coming in a few weeks. This week, however, we're going back to the symbol editor, which a couple of weeks ago we showed in a little bit of depth, but we're going into much more depth this week. We've had questions from people asking, are these symbols you're showing off something that take hours to create? So I sat down with John Stockwell, who is one of the lead concept artists on APB, and he created a couple of symbols in a few minutes, and he's going to show you now how that works. Here he goes. I'm here with John Stockwell, one of the senior concept artists on APB. Thanks for taking some time out, John.
That's all right.
Now, a lot of you wrote in and asked about the symbol editor itself that we showed during some of the E3 videos. There's a bit of a whirlwind overview on how it works. So what John's kindly going to demonstrate for us today is a couple of symbols he's going to create for us. And he's going to talk to you about how simple it is to create some of the designs. Now, obviously, some of the stuff you saw in the E3 videos took a little bit longer, but we're going to go over the basics in a bit more detail this time, and hopefully create something that you'll like. So let's have a look, shall we?
Let's do it. Okay, so here we're going to show you a couple of symbols being made in the designer, and basically just to show you how quickly you can make some pretty interesting shapes and designs. So you can see shapes are just being dragged onto the canvas here. We've got a whole selection of simple stars and squares and things, and then more intricate designs like a skull and a hat. And these are just being moved around the canvas. They've got different effects applied to them. In this case, you can see they've got an outline effect applied to them, and they're just being moved around and grouped together over at the side in the layer stack, and scaled and coloured together. Now, if you follow the layers over at the side, you can see that there's only about 7 layers here, and it's already quite an interesting picture. And these are just being selected together, moved out of the way, and then bringing on some more designs. You can see a couple of guns being added to the picture here, and flipped around and moved in such a way to make a cool little picture. And here we've just added a square to the background, and that's having some different effects applied to it, coloured, and ending on this sort of graffiti tag fill, and that's just been had a gradient added to it just to soften it off at the edges. So finally, just colouring the hat. Okay, so now we're going to start off with something much more simple, so just a simple star, and that's just being coloured red. You can see the effects panel being brought up here and having a different effect applied to it, so you can see a sort of scratchy kind of effect applied to the star. Now, just another simple shape being brought on, a lightning bolt, and we're going to see this one shape being duplicated around, and then all these shapes can be grouped together after they've been duplicated, and they can all be transformed together, and again have the scratch fill applied to them. So we've got like a massive selection of symbols, and some more interesting and intricate than others, and in this case you can see a hand design being brought on and having a stroke effect applied to it. Okay, so again, just seeing more images being dragged onto the canvas here, scaled and rotated around, and if you look again over at the layers stack, you can see only about 11 layers there, and already getting something pretty interesting. Here you can see some flourishes being added, a stroke effect applied to them, flipped around, duplicated, coloured to suit the background, and now we're just going to select all those layers that are red, and just go to the colour palette just now and just try some different colours, see what could work, and yeah, that's looking pretty nice, and I think that would look pretty good on a t-shirt, car, or even a tattoo.